Welcome to the Prince on Prince podcast. I am Prince.
And I'm the Doctor.
And we are two lifelong friends and Prince fans. And we are going to bring you conversations about all things Prince, his music, his films, his inspirations, his impacts. You name it. We've got you covered.
Mm-hmm.
So first, quick note. My real name is Prince.
That's right. Another quick note. My real name is not the Doctor. My name is Terry. But we just thought that the Prince on Prince podcast with the Doctor sounded a little bit better than the Prince on Prince podcast with Terry. No offense, Terry's. So this is another special episode because we're together again. And it's always nice to be back in the same room. Yeah. To note this moment, I have another mug.
Okay.
Yeah, another mug of good friends. It's Troy and Abed in the morning. So
apropos.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm Troy.
Today we're excited to talk to Hudah, one of the trumpet players for the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble, a group of horn-playing brothers. The band originally formed as the Phil Cohran Youth Ensemble, named after their father, Afro-futurist jazz pioneer and educator, Kelan Phil Cohran. Cohran played trumpet for the Sun Ra Orchestra from 1959 to 1961. He formed the Artistic Heritage Ensemble, bringing together some incredible musicians, including 4 future members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and their horn section.
Mm-hmm.
In 1967, he founded the Afro Arts Theater, a center for African-American musicians in Chicago's South Side.
Yeah. So the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble, big part of Phil Cohran's legacy. They were immersed in music from an early age. The brothers were made to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They had to practice their instruments before school. They had to practice their instruments after school. Phil Cohran's Circle of Sound. They would hold rehearsals in the living room. There was an adjoining loft and theater that they called the Sun Arc, where they would put on live shows. When the boys were adolescents, actually, that's when they started the Phil Cohran Youth Ensemble, and they played around Chicago. I mean, this is back when they were still adolescents. Played for people like Mayor Harold Washington, Nelson Mandela in the audience as well.
The Hypnotic Brass Ensemble officially formed in 1999, recording their first project, Flipside, in 2004. The title track of this project was written after the death of their close friend, Robert Locke. The album opens with Alayo, a song written by their late father. You might know them for their best-known song, War, which was featured in the Hunger Games film, and on the season 4 soundtrack of Fargo, which we believe was the season
Chris
with
Rock episode.
Chris Rock. Yeah, absolutely. The song was also sampled on the Childish Gambino mixtape, Royalty, on a song called American Royalty, featuring RZA. Yeah.
You might also know them with their collaborations. I mean, they played with everybody from Maxwell, Erykah Badu, Snoop Dogg. They performed with Mos Def, Wu-Tang Clan, De La Soul, Femi Kuti, and who else did they play with? Let me see. I'll check my notes. Prince. Yeah, they played with Prince. And today we're going to be talking with Hudah about this experience, the influence that Prince had on his music, but also we're going to be talking about the influence that Hudah and his brothers had on Prince. So thanks for joining us on the Prince on Prince podcast with the Doctor, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with Hudah. Hi, Hudah. Welcome to the Prince on Prince podcast featuring the Doctor. It is such an honor to have you here, sir.
Hey, man, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, since this is a Prince on Prince podcast, I have a question that isn't even about music.
Okay.
But Prince famously kept Minneapolis as his home base, right?
Okay.
He went around the world, but he always came back to Minneapolis. We lost him in Minneapolis. You were born and raised in Chicago. Your band is known all over the world. What keeps you in Chicago?
So what brought me back to Chicago, because I was living in New York for like 9 years. I had promised my daughter when she was young, like super young, that when she went to high school, I would come back to Chicago and make that my base. And so when she went to high school, I made sure I kept with that promise. You can't tell a kid something and not follow through, especially a daughter, because they hold you to those things, and I didn't want her to try to check me, so I made sure I got my.
All right, that's cool. I didn't even know that you had left, but we talked earlier, just amongst ourselves, about how so many artists uh, tend to go to LA, go to New York, which you did. Country artists go to Nashville, but it is very unique for successful artists. I mean, R. Kelly stayed in Chicago, but he also went to Atlanta. But artists like you all and Prince to just sort of say we're going to represent the Midwest. And so really appreciate that because I'm also from Chicago.
Yeah.
Terrence from Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we definitely got our roots and our foundations. Everything was laid in Chicago. Our father always told us, we need to, maintain a base in Chicago. So essentially, we always had that. You know, um, Definitely coming up from the youth ensemble to Hypnotic Brass, deciding that we wanted to sell our CDs on the streets, didn't want to sit in a club because, it's maybe a 90-10 chance somebody will discover you in the club. And so we decided to flip that and take our CDs and go to the streets and perform. And it was looked at as something degrading, but we didn't see, what they call busking as something bad. We saw it as an opportunity to spread our music without sitting in the club. Like we can reach more people, and we were strategic with it. Always set up in places where people were spending money. You know, so and what got us to New York it was almost like you do the math type thing. In Chicago, on a Saturday, we would sell maybe 100 CDs, and this was back when you could sell CDs. CDs wasn't obsolete yet, um, and we started trying different cities to see like what we could do. And back then, we had like 8 horns, including a tuba and a drum, so we didn't need electricity. Set up in places where people were shopping, spending money, and we'll sell. Like I said, we sold like 100 CDs on a Friday. I mean, on a Saturday in Chicago, and that was our best day. And we tried LA. LA was cool. We sold a lot of CDs there, but it was just like Chicago. We even went to Mardi Gras a couple of times and, realized that New Orleans would be good for us only when there was something popping. And one day we decided to go to New York, and we found out like in New York, um, every day was a day to really get out and grind. You can grind in the summer, spring, winter, fall, and every day in New York we sold 200 to 300 CDs in a span of like 3 to 5 hours. And so it's like no brainer to if we're pursuing our dream and our passion of spreading our music around the world, you know, um, getting these CDs out was essential. And so we moved to New York in like '05, and right before CDs became obsolete, we was able to get out there and, like I said, sell 200-300 CDs every day. Sometimes 400-500-600 CDs, depending on where we were set up. And there's so many places to shop in New York. So it was always opportunities to find people spending money.
Yeah, because you can
But
move
we
around.
we 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 always maintain, a foundation here in Chicago because this is our roots. This is, where our father built his legacy in the 60s with the Afro Arts Theater,
Mhm.
with the Transitions East, the Artistic Heritage Ensemble, Circle of Sound, like the different groups that he had and the different musicians that assisted him in building his name and things like, we always wanted to stay connected to our roots here in Chicago.
Wow. So we are going to talk about Prince, but your band is so accomplished. We can't just gloss over that. And your dad was even a very accomplished musician, as you
Mm.
just mentioned. So I'm curious as to some of the lessons about the music industry
Mm.
that you may, or even life that you may have learned from your dad, like one or two lessons that you would feel comfortable sharing.
Well, one thing that always stuck out because my father was independent, and still to this day, like me and my brothers, we're solely independent when it comes to our business. We own all our masters. We have like about 14 albums, working on our 15th album. And we have our label, which is called Phil Entertainment. We own our own publishing 100%, which is my publishing group. Um, my father was staunch advocate of individuality, knowing who you are, and maintaining who you are. He was a sovereign, whether he had millions of dollars or no dollars.
Mm.
He knew who he was and what his value was, and he wouldn't compromise that for anything. So he instilled that in us. Um, got a chance to have his own label back in the 60s, which was Zulu Productions. And he had a theater, the Afro Arts Theater, which was a hub for cultural events, like whether it's Pan Africanism, whether it was all about scholarship. So he dealt with astrology. He dealt with health. Like he was a vegetarian in the 60s, 50s. He's actually it's on record that Shaka Khan said the reason why she's vegan is because of the teachings of our father.
Mm.
Um, but one of the things that he said that always sticks out with me is whatever you want to do it every day.
Mm.
When you do it every day, then it becomes you, and so therefore it grows with how you grow. That always stuck out with me. He 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 had so many lessons. I can sit here like all day and talk about different things that my father taught us to inspire us to um, bring something from us that, like, each one of us have a fingerprint. Each one of us have a footprint that no one else has. So there's something inside each of one of us that we can bring to the world that no one else can. And that's another lesson that he taught us. So individuality, being okay with being you, and understanding the power in what you can bring to the world, and also knowing that if you don't bring it, it doesn't get brought, because each one of us has a purpose, and what we bring to the world no one else can bring. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, I can go on for days about things and sayings that he had that he taught us.
Wow.
But those two kind of like stick out the most.
Well, what's amazing is that your dad was already sort of on this. Prince caught up to your dad's thinking
Mm.
about owning his masters
Yeah.
and being more independent One thing that I'm a Revolution fan. I think that was like the band that Prince had that really helped him grow. And even though he left them, but they were known more um, like as a band that he put together for their looks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was earlier in his life. But toward the end, people started applauding him for surrounding himself with better musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And he would not play with people that he wanted to play with the best.
Yeah.
And so he wouldn't play with people that he didn't think were like at the top of their game. And he also liked playing with independents like you all. And so now, just to sort of transition over into that area, how did that come about, you all playing with Prince?
Man, that was like a dream come true that you didn't even know was a dream. So in our career, like one of the countries that we've done a lot of leg work, footwork, grassroots work, just getting out grinding was Ireland.
Mm.
And prior to him actually returning, he had he counseled a show in Ireland, and it was like 3 years later that he decided that he would come back. And so when he canceled the show, everybody was upset, all panties in a bunch, and it was chaos. And in that time that he canceled, we had come to Ireland and had did like maybe 100, 200 shows. We had traveled all around the country. We was on one of the top shows, which was the Late Late. We had did all the festivals. We were pretty big in Dublin. Like we had shot a movie with Andre 3000, which is All Is By My Side, where he played Jimi Hendrix. So it's like he was coming back to Ireland, to make up for canceling that show. And he was asking the promoter, like, I'm coming back, and what I wanted to do is, incorporate Ireland into my show. And he asked the promoter, like, if I was to, have an opening act, who would I have here? And it just so happened that the promoter was a huge fan of ours, and he knew like we was thumping grounds, like making headway in the country, and always making noise. So he was like, "You should check these guys out. They're not too far from your hometown. Y'all Midwest guys. They're very independent. You know." All up along the lines of what Prince was about, owning your masters. Like certain rappers was talking like they couldn't get a Prince sample because they didn't own their masters. And, they knew that he was about that, and they knew that we were an independent band, and our core values was about, crusading for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, and still to now, like people hire musicians, but they'll talk over musicians, they'll eat dinner over musicians, and not really give musicians their just due. It's just extra noise or extra to an event. But like I said, because we were making a nice amount of noise in Ireland, it was like he was presented with us, and he liked the rawness of us. He liked the story behind us, and so he's like, all right, cool. I forget what band. It was a good band, a dope, like well known band, um, that was supposed to open for him, but he kicked them off the tour. And the Irish Times had quoted Prince saying, "I want to come back and I want to play with musicians, real musicians playing real music."
Wow.
That part.
And so because we were highly recommended, like not only did the promoter say it, like when he said it, like everybody in the room was like, yeah, no, these are the guys that you should have. So he was like, all right, cool, book them. And it was the last time that he had performed in Ireland before he passed. You know, we were the opening band. And you asked, like, how did that come about? Like, that was that. And the beautiful thing about that is, like, when the day came, like, I'm on the phone in Brooklyn. I'm still living in Brooklyn, and I get a call from our Irish promoter, you know, saying that this is going to happen, or is it something that we would like? Fuck yeah! You kidding me?
Nah, man,
Like,
at this appointment, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Prince.
it's Prince. Like, you know, and what's so crazy about that situation? No, this is something following, but like, again, it's Prince. Like, yes, he's coming back to Ireland. He's coming wherever he is. Like, he could be on the moon, and he chooses you
I'm in my
to
rowboat.
be his support act, his opening act. Like, yeah, whatever I'm doing, that don't even matter. This is Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got Michael Jackson, you got Prince. You got Prince, you got Michael Jackson. Like, and it's a few other artists that you could do that for, but like, these are icons. If they want you, like, it's a no-brainer. Like, yes, we're doing it. So
Absolutely.
we got that call. It just happened to be a day before my birthday, July 30th, 2010.
Wow.
You know, that we got an opportunity to perform on stage at Malahide Castle in Dublin, Ireland. You know?
Wow. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah,
Like that.
man.
It was amazing.
So that brings up so much more. Because Prince didn't have a lot of opening acts either.
Right.
And so when he was choosing an opening act, you had to be at the top of your game. So I hope you know how high praise that was. But did you get to have any interactions with him?
So let me tell you how I met Prince.
Man.
So
Wait. I want every story that I ever hear for the rest of my life to start with. Let me tell you how I met Prince.
Yeah.
So even with how I met Prince, I'm gonna tell you how just the stars line up. We're recording in Ireland at this place called Grouse Lodge. And this happens to be the last place that Michael Jackson recorded.
Mm.
He was recording there with Akon before he passed. And when we get there, they like showing us his signature, because when you are there, it's like a compound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's secluded from the world. You isolated, and they have 24-hour like chefs, everything. You live on the property and everything. They have horses. They showed us what horses Michael Jackson rode, and you know, all of this. And it's interesting that I'm the one who's telling this story, because we drew straws to pick rooms to sleep in. We spent like a week, 2 weeks there at Grouse Lodge in Ireland. I happened to pick the room that Michael Jackson slept in.
Mm.
You know? So fast forward, July 30th, 2010, we get to Malahide Castle, you know, for sound check. And me and a couple of my brothers, like, man, this is Prince. This is like dream come true. We're gonna go check their sound check out. He hadn't come out yet, right? So we're in the front of the stage, looking on stage to just the band, just, you know, running through things, blah, blah, blah. It's the guitar player, no, the bass player. I forget her name.
Rhonda.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda. She's on stage, and she's talking to this up and coming artist, Andy Allo.
Oh,
Prince's girlfriend.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And me and my brothers are enamored with Andy Allo. Like she had fro this before she cut off the fro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good God, who the can I cut?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? Like we just zeroed in on her. Like, wow. Like, of course, Prince will have like a fucking beautiful woman on stage with us. She playing guitar. They sound checking. And what he did when we didn't even see him come on stage. He comes on stage and he gets like he just sees some guys watching them sound check. He gets within the eye view of us and them, and he like gestures like y'all the horn players, like he, you know, and we like, yeah. He's like, go get your horns. No, before he said go get your horns, he comes up and we like, you know, we walk up to the stage and I stick my hand out to shake his hand. Mm-hmm. Prince lifts his sunglasses up and gave me a hug.
Oh man!
Like, I didn't shake his hand. I hugged him when I met him. I hugged him. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Not freaking out. You know what I'm saying? I hugged him and moved to the side so everybody else can do whatever. He hugged each one of us. You know what I'm saying? It was like 3 or 4 of us. You know what I'm saying? Right there.
Wow.
He's like, y'all the horn players, right? We like, yeah. Like, all of y'all here, y'all got your horns? We like, yeah. He's like, go get your horns, come back up on stage. So we come back up on stage. They running through songs. And we just sitting over there in a huddle, you know, like, what we gonna do? Prince walks over to us. He says, the next one's in B. And he walks off. And they start playing musicology. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they playing it, they doing their thing. And then he's like, all right, go. And he let us make up our own part. You know what I'm saying? The musicology. And we had a little riff that we made that we did in unison, arranged chords and everything. And he heard it. And then he walks over to us again and he's like, that's the encore. And so we finished and we don't know what is going on. We do our show, you know, like I'm tweaking, like it's a dream come true, like and I'm jumping all over the place. Like in that concert, he does Purple Rain, it starts raining, and then after he's finished, the encore is musicology, and he brings us on stage, and we're playing musicology with Prince on stage. Like you can't write this any better. Like I'm sleeping in the bed that Michael Jackson slept in, and then playing on stage with Prince all in the same day, like a day before my birthday. Like what a birthday present! It's amazing.
You have the video because he was notorious for recording like everything.
Well, we don't. Well, actually, there's like bits and pieces, but he was real like careful not to let outside people. Record.
Yeah.
So you know, we have. I want to say. I think we have pictures. He was real careful not. And incidentally, at the time, we was shooting a documentary, Brothers Hypnotic. Mm-hmm. Which has already been released. We have all the rights back to that, and we're holding that for some future stuff. But I do incidentally have footage of something that happened after that. So this show goes on, Locked in History.
Yeah.
And Prince liked what we did so much that he had the New Power Generation Festival in Copenhagen the following week. You know, and this is when Janelle Monáe first came out. Mm-hmm. She was performing there. Raphael Sadiq was there. Shaka Khan was there. You know, he had Larry Graham on stage with him playing bass. So we were supposed to headline a festival somewhere in the UK the following week. and Prince asked us to come to Copenhagen to perform at his New Power Generation Festival. And so we was trying to figure out how to get out of headlining, you know what I'm saying, this festival in the UK. But we was like, fuck it. We just gonna tell them what's the truth. Like, we just performed with Prince, and he asked us to come perform with him in Copenhagen, and we decided that we're gonna go perform with him in Copenhagen. It's like, this is fucked up. We hate that you guys are doing this, but it's Prince.
Yeah.
But
Like,
it's
this
Prince.
is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
They was real understanding, and they was like, you know, it's fucked up. We got to find somebody to replace y'all, but go do it.
Oh, wow.
So
that's love.
So he paid first class for everything, put us up in top-notch hotels, and we come and we do the same thing that we did in Dublin and Copenhagen. And the guy who was our promoter in Ireland just so happened to catch, you know what I'm saying, Prince on stage saying hypnotic, hypnotic, boom. Do 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 do, yeah. Like he grinded because we was on stage playing the same riff that we was doing, and he was just vibing. It was a zone. It was like a drone. Like ba da ba da boom, ba da ba da boom, ba da blah. And whatever we was playing, it put him in the zone, and he was listening to it, and he started just riffing to it. The promoter caught that on camera, and he kept it. And so, like I was saying, we was filming a documentary, and years later, like, the documentary didn't come out for a while, but I got tired of, you know, the politics with the documentary coming out. So I decided to put together a 7-8 minute mini doc of just other footage that I had of different things, like some stuff, pictures and things with us and De La Soul, a concert in Ireland as well. Some stuff with Maxwell, some stuff with Mos Def, and, you know, just put together a mini thing to put out to the people to kind of like, you know, prelude to the doc. And I got my guy from Ireland to give me that footage. So it's on Vimeo. You just put in Hypnotic Brass
My man.
video on Vimeo. Put in Hypnotic Brass TV on Vimeo, and it's like a mini doc on there. And at the end, you'll see the footage of us on stage with Prince and him doing what I just said.
Wow.
Like listening to us doing our thing, and then start riffing off of it. It was super dope.
That's amazing. You know, you were talking about, I think you said something like, let me tell you how the stars align, right? and to me, I feel like musicology, like if you could pick a song out of the discography, right? Out of Prince's, out of Prince's entire, entire repertoire of music, musicology to me is one that I would like, that's a no-brainer for this band to be on, right? Because if you think about like what's happened in 2011, he's just making calls to people like, I like what you're doing. He's really supporting new musicians. He's an early supporter of Janelle Monáe. He comes across you guys, and like Prince said earlier, Prince catching up to your father, right? Prince catching up to your father in terms of not just owning the masters, but I think what owning the masters represents in what your father was doing, with the Afro-futurism, with the collectives, and I think Prince was really getting into that, that this is more than just about, owning those masters and things like that. So to have you say that it was like musicology, right? And that this is the encore, and let's hear those horns, and then that's just, my God.
You don't even know you dream like this when dealing with this guy, man.
Yeah. And you know what's so cool about this though is that, you talk about like, it's Prince, so how are you going to say no, right? in doing our research for this, one of the things that we found was, the MPG horns. That was kind of the name of the brass section and the horn players that Prince had, from like the early 2000s and up to about 2008. Well, from 2008 till about 2011, the horns didn't travel with his band. They didn't really play with him anymore, right? He just kind of exited that out of the music. And after he played with you guys, and then I think like sometime later with Trombone Shorty, the MPG horns got reinstated. And he was like, yeah, this is something that I want to get back to. He got that brass back into the music. He got those horn stabs back into the music, so it's cool. One of the things that we were talking about in the intro is not just the influence that Prince had on bands like yours, but the influence that bands like yours had on Prince, which is, so cool to think about and so cool to.
And a good influence.
Yeah.
A really good influence. Because like in the 80s, he was at the cutting edge of everything. And I felt that in the 90s, he started trying to catch up and he didn't need to or whatever. So there was some missteps maybe, but then in the 2000s, and clearly when you all connected with him, he was sort of like that elder statesman.
Yeah.
And so he was connecting with younger groups, but it wasn't like a conflict. It was more of a, let's co-construct something beautiful together.
Yeah. Because like back early, if you think early, I mean, there's so much that he's bringing out of Minneapolis with him, right? He's bringing Morris with him. He's bringing,
Jammin' Lewis.
All of them, Jammin' Lewis. But in so many ways, it's like under the Prince umbrella, right? It's like they're part of Prince's stable almost. And that switches in the late 2000s, which is why I think it was the perfect time for your band and that the kind of the culminating ethic, that central ethic of your band and Prince to align. Because he's acting like the elder statesman. He's acting like the old head, right? It's not Prince's stable anymore. He's just like, I can help you. I like what you're doing.
And I trust you.
Let me put you on.
And I trust you. Because he was notorious for being like a micromanager with his music.
Yeah.
And just to say it's going to be in B, and just trust that you all were professionals.
And we did it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I say one of the things which I don't say I regret, but I noticed, like, we from Chicago, and we was still rough around the edges. Prince wasn't a person who dealt with chaos. He liked peace and synergy. Like when we went in his dressing room in Copenhagen was set up like a genie bottle. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, like, it was all like culminating like what you would think Prince would be. And we're all brothers. And so, like, I don't know if we don't have stories of him just interacting with his siblings.
Right.
And, me and my brothers in the band, we're siblings. So, we're highly debatable, we're argumentative, and, in the Copenhagen, our dressing room was right next to his. And so he got to hear us at each other's throats. And, I think that was the reason why nothing else happened between us and Prince, because, there was some serious conversations that we had amongst each other. And, we don't talk soft. Although we might not be at each other's throats, it's just the aggressive tone, the aggressive way and behavior in which we communicate with each other. Some might think like we're ready to fight. And, I wish in a lot of ways that, we had the maturity to know when and where to present that, because like having somebody like that to co-sign you, to you know, kind of like take you under their wing and present you to the world in a fashion like that could have been monumental for us, you know. But like I said, I don't regret, because you learn your lessons.
Right.
You know, failures is not failures; those are lessons to be learned. And I don't think it is a failure, because like I got the fucking stories to tell.
Yeah.
But after that Copenhagen gig, we never saw him again. We never performed with him again, and I know for sure it was because you know, of those things. And you know, you live and you learn. You know, and you take your experiences, and they mold and they shape you to who you are. And I would want to say, if I could do it all over again, probably wouldn't have had those kind of conversations. But then again, like, those conversations was needed to get us to where we are today.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we still had a lot more maturing to do. Like, our career is a span. Like, the band started in 1999.
Mhm.
We're here in 2025. And like I said before, like, this is the first time in our entire career that we have a manager. You know what I'm saying? And in all of that time, we have been 100% independent. We've traveled to more than 50 countries throughout the world. We've played on all types of stages, from, you know, peasants to royalty. You
Mhm.
know, had like the Duchess of Amsterdam, or Holland, come out to one of our concerts, and people was just in awe, because they say that she never moves or dances to people's music, but she was in the stands just having a jolly good time. You know, like, we played on big stages and small stages, you know, and we've been fortunate enough, you know, to rub elbows with a lot of heavyweights in the business, um, which our manager has seen, or just people like you know, always telling us of times where, you know, they first heard us, or where they saw a concert and how it impacted their life. You know,
Yeah.
like I said before, like, my father said, one of your first rules as a musician is to inspire. So, like, I'm so grateful to be able to be a beacon of light, part of that light that inspires people. And you know, I couldn't have asked for, you know, the experiences that I've had, coming from the South Side of Chicago, slums, dodging bullets, you know, being in the streets for a while, and then maturing and growing out of and finding music as a savior, you know, from whatever pitfalls may come to, you know, underprivileged, poor Black kids, Black men here in the States or around the globe. You know, to be able to find something that sets you apart, or that catapults you into a different stratosphere, and to be able to be on your game enough to be in someone like Prince's presence.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't ask for better experiences. So, you know, I'm totally humbled by, you know, that experience.
That sounds like some really good advice to me. And I don't know if you want to expound on it a little bit, but there are still a lot of young Black people, especially young men, that are in these situations. And what you just said, I found pretty inspirational. But what advice would you give to someone that may still be in a situation like that right now, a young person?
Um, So most people know what they don't want. I challenge the people to find out what you do want in life. And if you can find out what you do want, it goes back to, my father saying, whatever you want to do, do it every day. Because in doing it every day, like when you start making those strides, like I measure success by where I am today, not where I'm trying to go. Like I can see where I come from to where I am today. And if there's progression in that, that's success. I can't, I can't I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not like have those abilities to see the future. So I can't say where I'm trying to go. I can project and desire, but I can't say with certainty what tomorrow brings me. But I can look back at where I've started to where I am now. And like I said, if I see progress, then that's success. So what I would tell someone coming up again is to find out what it is that you want. And whatever that is, if you see power in that, if you see promise in that, if you see success or you see, elevation, then pursue it and do it every day because like as you progress, like you feel like you're making history. You feel like today is an accomplishment that like you can see how you propel to the next level. You can see how you make leaps and bounds to other levels. And you have to be able to soak those up and marvel at them because those are reboots. Those are the things that assures you that you're on the right path. So if I can say anything to somebody, like find out what it is that inspires you. Like is not necessarily about passion because you can be passionate about some bullshit.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people
Right.
are.
You know what I'm saying? But what inspires you that also inspires other like not that you live for other people's acceptance, but to be accepted or the things that you do to be accepted by someone, it gives you a certain sense of pride or a certain energy that comes from that encourage you to keep moving. It lets you know that this not so bad. I could be doing something else that make people you know want to hide or get away from me, but I'm doing something that makes people want to ask more questions and find out more about what I'm doing. Like find that and manifest that.
Yeah, that's cool. And so much of it is like, I say again, I don't want to keep coming back to your father, right? But I see so much of what your father was doing, right, in that answer. So much of what your father was doing is like, not just, do something that inspires you, but do something that's going to inspire other people, and build that circle and build that community. Um, I do want to ask you this. One of the episodes that we're going to be doing later on, and by the time that this is out, we may have already done it, but looking at, some collaborations that Prince never had, but that we would have loved to have seen, right? Like, oh man, this artist or this artist. And, as you said earlier, you've played with some heavyweights. I mean, you know, Maxwell, De La, Prince, Erica Badu. I mean, you've played with some heavyweights. Do you have a dream collaboration an artist or a group of artists that you all haven't played with yet that you were like, yeah, this would be cool to play with them?
There's so many artists that I would love to play with, but a lot of my dream collaborations aren't here. Like I would have loved to been able to make music with Bob Marley or Fela Kuti.
Yeah.
So I've personally drawn a lot of inspiration. Like listening to Bob Marley has gotten me through some real dark times in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because one, he spoke in a way that resonates with so many people and so many different walks of life. And you know, the thing about melodies and music, like it talks to you in a different way. One of the reasons why we didn't always put lyrics on our music, because we wanted to be able to speak to people that didn't speak English. You know, and allow that to grow from there. But yeah, definitely. First and foremost, those two guys. But the list goes on. Like I can run a, a real list of people I would love to have collaborated with, or still love to collaborate with.
They might be listening. It's right. They might be watching.
You never know.
So you never know. So let them know.
I mean, we grew up in the hip hop world, you know, in the 90s. So anybody who was, you know, popping in the 90s that you know, really was impactful, it, it would be good. Like Tribe would never perform again.
Right.
You know, but that would have been one. We got a chance to perform on stage with Wu-Tang, open up for them in London. That's a story in itself, but that was a dream come true.
I bet.
Wouldn't mind fucking with Nas, Mobb Deep, but then to go further back to like Stevie Wonder, you know, got a chance to tour with Sly and the Family Stone in Australia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Me neither.
Open up for them. Like it's so many things like that we forget sometimes. You know, the list goes on. Would love to have been able to collab with, like, being that we're brothers, to collab with the Isley brothers.
Right.
You know, like I said, like the list is long. Shit, unknown artists, well-known artists, like it is so many people. Like I'm trying to think of some dope ladies to collab with, like Patty. Would definitely love to, being that we both from Chicago, Shaka Khan, you know.
Yeah.
It's so many people, like, you know, new, old, dead or alive. Like we got a chance to perform at James Brown Memorial Service at Apollo.
Wow.
So we performed as part of Most Def and the Big Band. You know, where we
signed
had
the wall.
Huh?
Did you sign the wall at Apollo?
I didn't sign a wall. But this was the night I met Quincy Jones. You know, definitely would have loved to, you know, collaborate with that guy.
Yeah.
You know, again, another Chicago native.
And horns.
Huh?
Wasn't Quincy a trumpet
He played
player?
trumpet, absolutely. You know, just countless amount. One of my biggest and most favorite arrangers and composers was Duke Ellington.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he was phenomenal. Him and Quincy Jones are two of my top 10, you know, arrangers, composers of music. There's like no limit to who I would love to collaborate. You got Mick and Paulie from the Clash. You know, got a chance to spend time with them when we were on the Gorillaz tour back in 2000.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You know, Paulie, you know, he's a real super smooth guy, and Mick is just a rock star to the world.
Right.
You know, we got a chance to spend time with what's his name? Bobby Womack, a legend.
Oh man.
Spent 3 months with this guy. Would have loved to collaborate with him on it. Like the list goes on. Like it's so many great artists and talented musicians, or you know, just dynamic people who we've come across and not come across in our time here. You know, in the industry that you know would love to collab with and see what comes of it. Little known, we would like to collab again with Flea. A lot of people don't know that we have a Flea feature on one of our albums, and he's playing bass. Flea is a dynamic trumpet player as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's played some trumpet on the Chili Peppers albums. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people.
I know, and so varied too. So varied.
Yeah, it's varied.
Yeah, and I'll apologize to the listeners and to you if you hear my dog in the background barking.
Lily's adorable.
Hey, can I be selfish for a
Please,
second?
please.
I want to be selfish for a second. Here's my dream collab for you all, right? So I don't know if you're up on Coast Contra. Have you heard of these guys?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Coast Contra, just like old 90s sniper stuff, man. I think you'd really like these guys. And I would, oh my God, I would love to hear a collab between you all and Coast Contra. I think that would just hit.
They have a lot of that whole tribe influence.
Yeah, I mean, if you think they've got, you know, they some of their freestyles and their first singles that they put out, you know, they used some of the same tracks. Scenario. They shout out Five Dog and Q-Tip in there. But yeah, check it out. Oh my God, I'm gonna manifest it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Stop me when I get to 17.
Yeah, you got it. I think we're at 17, but I do want to know, can I ask one last question?
Please.
So you mentioned that you're all working on a new album, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us when we can expect that? Can you tell us where we can catch you guys? I know a lot of things are happening for you, and that's amazing. Tell us and tell our listeners where they can find you.
So our new album set to be released sometime late spring 2026. It's PPL, People. People is an acronym for Practicing Powerful Living.
Mm.
You know, it's a new album. It's one album that is going to represent a new phase of Hypnotic. Like I was saying before, we've never had a manager. Mm-hmm. One of the things that has kept us out of the spotlight on a grand scale is not having a traditional team. You know, we've been totally independent, grassroots from the ground up. Like we book our own shows. We manage ourselves. Like we take the losses, we take the risks, we put up our own money to do everything. And we've been fortunate enough to continue what we feel we need to impart on the world on a low scale. And our intentions with this is to, like, we've gathered up a team where our manager has connection. And incidentally, our manager comes from, so on the Gorillaz tour back in 2010, 11, we we got an opportunity to spend like 3-4 months with different artists. Like I mentioned, Mick and Paulie from the class, um, Bobby Womack, and another group that was, you know, we was around every day was De La Soul. God, God rest the soul of Dave, Trugor. But the one that we really resonated with more than anyone was Maceo. And that's because Maceo kind of reminded us of our big brother who was murdered back in '96, but he was like his energy was like our big brother, and over the years we've bonded with these guys, and they know our trials and tribulations. They know, our independence, our rough edges, and all of that. And Maceo brought this guy to us because he thought he was a good fit. And because Maceo brought him to us, all of us just automatically, went with it. 9 times out of 10, somebody would have issues with it. But this, because it was Maceo bringing it to us,
right?
We all accepted it and went with it. And this guy has taken on the task. And to our credit, everybody who he's brought around us, including the distributor, has seen us at some point. Everybody was a fan of us at some point. So therefore, everybody wants us to win. And it made his job a lot easier. It turned him on even more to what it is that Maceo brought him to. He's like, I've never heard of these guys, but everybody know these guys. So, we look forward to, seeing the chapter of us having the team that everyone else has. A lot of times when we deal with these industry people, industry artists, it's us dealing with them, and everyone else has managers, they have publicists, they have this, that, and the third, and it's just us. So, I want to see what that other side is and how that helps to open doors and things. But like I said, the next album scheduled to be released in late spring is called People. PPL, the acronym, Practicing Powerful Living. Again, back to, being inspiration to people. We want to show through our music, through our creativity, us practicing powerful living. In a time where everybody has something that is depressing them, something that is distracting them from their higher self. And again, back to what you asked me about if I can impart something on somebody trying to come up like that, practice powerful living. If you find out what it is that you want to do, or how you can be a beacon of light, or how you can bring something to the world that no one else is bringing, then you're practicing powerful living.
Love it. All right. Well, Hudah, thank you so much for your time, sir. We wish you all the blessings, all the success that you guys have had. May you have tenfold in the future, at least. Yeah, this was amazing.
Yeah,
this
it
was
really
amazing.
was. Appreciate you. And I can't wait to hear the new album. I'm excited about it.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
I did hear that you make a mean, is it sweet potato pie?
I make a mean sweet potato pie. I make a mean banana pudding with strawberries in it. I make a mean coconut crust apple pie. Like, I make a mean a lot of things.
Well, we're gonna have to get you back out to DC so I can check that out.
You had me at banana pudding. I don't know about the strawberries, but banana pudding.
Hey, it was something crazy to me too. But I was in Atlanta in College Park, and I went to this soul food restaurant, and this is the reason why I started making banana pudding. I had never made banana pudding until this, and I seen a banana pudding with strawberries, and I like strawberries, and I tasted it, and it opened my mind up to something different. Around the holidays, I always make my banana pudding with eggnog.
Oh, okay.
I hope it's a good eggnog.
Hey man, it's definitely good eggnog. It doesn't have not with the rum. I got you. But it can have it. It's no problem. I have infused my banana pudding with weed. You know what I'm saying? But I make it from scratch. I don't use pudding mix or anything like that. I take that long time to stir it until the custard comes. And
Sounds so good.
Banana pudding is the best.
Yes,
I love banana pudding so much. This has got to be cut. This part. I love banana pudding so much. I love banana pudding. You remember that old song Barefootin'? Barefootin', right? Every time I heard that, all I could think of was banana pudding.
Hey.
Banana pudding. Yeah. Oh man. All right, but I'm gonna try the strawberries.
I get down in the kitchen when I can.
I heard. All right. One last thing. Any Prince song that you would recommend to our listeners that they need to check out?
Yeah.
Well, Prince songs that I really like. I like Pop Life. One of my favorite. I won't say it's underrated, but you don't ever really hear it. Is Strolling.
I love Strolling.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Diamonds and Pearls. Yeah.
Yeah, Strolling is my jam. He has so many songs, but you know, everybody has their go-tos. But if I can hear Bet You By Golly Wow, you know, that Strolling just does things for me. Like it's we can have fun just strolling.
That's underrated. That is underrated. It's one of my favorites.
That's my jam right there.
All right. Well, with that, let's get strolling.
We're gonna stroll on out of here.
We're gonna stroll out of here. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys.
That's right. Cheers.
Cheers.